moment you walk out that door, your dog does something most owners never see. For a few seconds, it stands completely still, watching, listening, waiting, and what happens next has surprised scientists, behavior experts, and countless dog owners who thought they already understood their pets. Most people believe their dog simply sleeps until they come home. But the truth is far more emotional than that, because while you are busy with work, errands, or everyday life, your dog may be following routines, searching for clues, tracking your scent, monitoring familiar sounds, and in some cases experiencing emotions that look remarkably similar to longing. But here is the question most owners never ask. If dogs do not understand time the way humans do, then how do they seem to know exactly when we are coming back? And why do some dogs remain calm while others struggle the moment the door closes? The answers reveal something extraordinary about the bond you share with your dog, and by the end of this video, you may never look at your dog's behavior the same way again. Most owners imagine the same scene. The door closes. The car drives away. The dog walks over to its bed, then sleeps for hours. Simple, predictable, nothing special, and for years, that is exactly what many people believed after all. Dogs spend a large portion of their day resting, so it seems reasonable to assume they simply sleep while we are gone. But hidden cameras placed inside homes started revealing a very different story. Researchers and behavior specialists began observing dogs when owners were absent. What they discovered challenged one of the most common assumptions about dog behavior. Many dogs do not immediately relax. Instead, the first few minutes after an owner leaves are often the most important. Some dogs move toward windows, others head directly to the front door, some walk through multiple rooms, others remain frozen in place, as if they are processing what just happened. And this raises an interesting question. What exactly is going through a dog's mind during those first moments alone? The answer begins with something many owners underestimate: attachment. Dogs are not simply animals that live beside humans. Over thousands of years, they evolved to build unusually strong social bonds with us. In many ways, humans became their family group, their safe place, their source of stability. This is why behavioral researchers often compare the dog-owner bond to the attachment relationships seen in young children, not because dogs are children, but because the emotional mechanisms share surprising similarities. Your presence matters far more than most people realize, and that becomes especially obvious when you disappear. But here is where things become fascinating. Dogs do not react to absence in the same way. Some remain calm, others become restless. Why? The difference often comes down to predictability. Dogs are masters of patterns, far better than many people realize. Every day, your dog is quietly collecting information: the sound of your alarm, the timing of breakfast, the moment you pick up your keys, the shoes you wear before leaving, the sound of your car. Your dog notices all of it. Most owners never realize this because dogs are constantly studying routines, and once a routine becomes familiar, it creates a sense of security. Your dog may not understand clocks, but it understands patterns. When the pattern makes sense, the world feels safe. When the pattern changes unexpectedly, uncertainty appears, and uncertainty creates stress. This helps explain why some dogs become anxious when schedules suddenly change, but it also reveals something deeper. Your dog is not simply reacting to your absence. It is reacting to what your absence means: the loss of predictability, the temporary disappearance of its most important social partner. And this leads to another mystery. If dogs miss us, how do they stay connected while we are gone? The answer involves one of the most powerful abilities dogs possess: their sense of smell. Humans experience the world primarily through sight. Dogs experience it through scent, and their noses are so extraordinary that they can detect information we cannot even imagine. Your scent remains throughout the home long after you leave, on furniture, blankets, clothing, door handles, even the air itself. This is why many dogs choose specific places to rest when owners are absent. At first glance, it may seem random, but often those locations contain the strongest traces of the person they trust most. Think about that for a moment. When your dog curls up on your side of the bed, It may not be choosing comfort alone. It may be choosing connection, the closest thing available to your presence. And suddenly that behavior feels very different. But scent is only part of the story, because there is another behavior. Hidden camera footage repeatedly captures listening. Many dogs spend significant time monitoring sounds, footsteps outside, cars passing, doors opening, voices in the distance. At first this seems strange. Why spend so much energy paying attention? The reason is surprisingly emotional. Your dog is searching for information. Every sound carries possibilities. Could that be you? Could that signal your return? Most sounds lead nowhere, but your dog keeps listening anyway, and that persistence reveals something important. Hope, not human hope, not conscious planning, but a biological expectation built through attachment and routine. Your dog expects you to come back, and that expectation shapes behavior throughout the day. But here is the surprising part. Some studies suggest dogs may become increasingly excited as owner return times approach. Not because they understand hours and minutes, but because environmental clues begin aligning with familiar patterns. Light changes. Neighborhood activity changes. Sounds become familiar. Tiny details begin matching previous experiences, and your dog starts anticipating what comes next. Which brings us to one of the most misunderstood moments in dog ownership. The reunion. You walk through the door. Your dog explodes with excitement, tail wagging, spinning, jumping, sometimes crying, sometimes running in circles. Many people laugh and assume it is simply excitement. But the truth is more meaningful. That reaction is often the emotional release of anticipation, the return of certainty, the restoration of connection, the safe social bond becoming complete again. And once you understand this, the greeting feels entirely different. It is not merely enthusiasm, it is recognition, relief, security, and joy all happening at once. But there is something even more important. Not all dogs experience separation the same way. For some dogs, being alone is mildly disappointing. For others, it can be genuinely difficult. This is where separation anxiety enters the conversation, and many owners misunderstand it completely. Separation anxiety is not stubbornness. It is not revenge. It is not bad behavior. A dog is not destroying furniture because it wants to punish you. That idea has been repeatedly challenged by behavior experts. Instead, anxious behaviors often emerge from emotional distress. The dog is struggling, not plotting. This distinction matters because it changes how owners respond. Punishment cannot solve emotional insecurity. Understanding can. Training can. Gradual confidence building can. But punishment often increases confusion, and this reveals one of the biggest perspective shifts in canine psychology. Many behaviors that appear irrational make perfect sense once we understand the emotions underneath. The barking, the pacing, the waiting near doors, the fixation on windows, the excitement during reunions. These behaviors are not random. They are connected pieces of a larger emotional system, a system built around attachment. And that attachment is one of the reasons dogs became such successful companions in the first place. For thousands of years, survival depended on cooperation. Humans and dogs evolved alongside one another, each species learning to read the other, each species benefiting from the relationship. Over time, that partnership became something deeper, something emotional, something powerful, and traces of that ancient bond still appear every time your dog waits for you, every time it follows your scent, every time it rushes toward the door when you return. But the deepest truth is not that your dog spends the day missing you. That is only part of the story. The real truth is that your dog organizes part of its world around you. Your routines matter. Your presence matters. Your return matters. You are not simply someone who provides food. You are part of the structure that helps make life feel predictable and safe. And once you understand that, many everyday behaviors suddenly take on new meaning. That spot where your dog sleeps, that excitement when you grab your keys, that greeting at the door, that look it gives you before you leave. None of these moments are as simple as they appear. They are small windows into a relationship built through trust, familiarity, and emotional connection. Which brings us back to the original question. What does your dog do when you are not there? Sometimes it sleeps. Sometimes it explores. Sometimes it watches. Sometimes it listens. Sometimes it waits. But beneath all of those behaviors is something most owners never fully realize. Your dog is not merely passing time. It is navigating a world that feels different without the person it trusts most. And perhaps that is the truth many owners struggle to handle. Not because it is sad, but because it reveals how deeply we matter to our dogs. The next time you leave home and see your dog watching you from the doorway, remember this. It is probably not wondering whether you love it. That bond was established long ago. What it is waiting for is something much simpler. The moment the familiar pattern becomes complete again, the moment you come back. And maybe that is why those greetings at the door feel so special, because for a few seconds, two different species are expressing the same thing. I am glad you are here. If this video changed the way you see your dog, let me know in the comments. What is the first thing your dog does when you come home? And if you enjoy discovering the hidden psychology behind dog behavior, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us for the next canine mystery.